If I only knew how to play chords in root position, I would have to play this chord sequence like this. But just by adding the second inversion position to my repertoire, I can turn that into this, which sounds way smoother and is much easier to play. I'm going to teach you a clever trick for finding these smooth, easy paths through left-hand chord sequences. It boils down to only using your second finger or pinky to play the root, whichever requires the least movement from your current position. This always forces you into an easy-to-reach shape for the next chord. We'll drill this trick using the chord chart we worked through last time, and then we'll take everything we've learnt so far and use it to actually play a lead sheet. As always, the PDF for everything you see on screen can be found in the description. Alright, first things first, let's go step by step through my little chord inverting trick, which I'll demonstrate over the first few chords of this chord chart. The first chord in the sequence, in this case D minor 7, can just be played in root position. Now we want to find a shape for the next chord, G dominant 7, which we can easily reach from where we are right now. To do that, we'll restrict ourselves to playing the root G with either the second finger or pinky, and we'll use whichever finger requires the least movement from our current position. If I play the root of the next chord with my pinky, I'll have to move my entire hand to here. But if I play the root with my second finger, I barely have to move at all. The second finger requires less movement than the pinky, so I'll use my second finger to play the root of the next chord. My second finger is now glued to the root, and from this position I'll construct the next chord. It's a dominant 7 chord, so it's got a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4, a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I can't reach this D while my second finger is on the root, so I'm going to have to play the fifth down here with my pinky instead. And then finally a minor 7th, which is 2 below the roots, 1, 2. And just like that, I've got a second inversion position for G dominant 7. Let's do this through a few more chords. The pause icon will flash before I work out each chord, so you can try and do it without me first and then check your work. The next chord is C major 7. Playing the root with the second finger requires more movement than using the pinky, so I'll use the pinky to play the roots. It's a major 7 chord, so it's got a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4, a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a major 7th, so up to the root here and down 1. The next chord is G minor 7. Playing the root with the pinky requires more movement than using the second finger, which is already on the root, so we'll use the second finger to play the root. It's a minor 7 chord, so it's got a minor third, 1, 2, 3, a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I can't reach this fifth, so I'll put it down here, and a minor 7th, which is 2 below the root, 1, 2. The next chord is C dominant 7. Playing the root with the second finger requires more movement than using the pinky, so I'll use the pinky to play the root. It's a dominant 7 chord, so it's got a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4, a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a minor 7th, so up to the root here and down 1, 2. Okay, we'll do one more. The next chord is F major 7. Playing the root with the pinky requires more movement than using the second finger, so I'll use the second finger to play the root. It's a major 7 chord, so it's got a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4, a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I can't reach this fifth, so I'll put it down here, and a major 7th, which is 1 below the root, right there. So that's how the trick works. As a rule of thumb, the lowest note in these left-hand chords should be no lower than this C, which is 1 octave below middle C. Below this point, all our chords will start to sound muddy and dissonant, and you can just hear they sort of lose their integrity. Let's jump forward to the F dominant 7 with the second finger on the root. The next chord is B flat major 7. This B flat is off limits as it's below this C, which is our floor for these chords. So we'll have to place the root up here instead. And in this case, we would use the second finger for the root as it requires less movement than the pinky. Continue working through the rest of this chord chart, using the inversion trick to always find the closest position for the next chord. Remember to check each chord before you move on to the next one. If you're having trouble or think you're making a lot of mistakes that you're not catching, you can try the Lego and bowl trick that I showed you in part 1. It will make everything a lot easier. There's a chapter market for it on the video, so it should be easy to find. Once you've done that, you'll have worked out a ton of chords and done that inverting trick over 30 times. With all that experience under your belt, we're now ready to take everything we've learned and use it to play a jazz tune from a lead sheet. I'll demonstrate how this is done on a lead sheet of a tune that I wrote for this section, which is based on Tune Up, a classic jazz standard. If you've got a real book, you can learn Tune Up instead of my tune, as everything I'm about to show you will work just the same. Okay, so let's talk through how to read a lead sheet, starting with the chords. The chord for each bar is written with a chord symbol above the bar. In both this piece and Tune Up, there's just one chord symbol in each bar, and when that's the case, the chord comes in on beat 1, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The chords will go in our left hand, freeing up our right hand to pick out the melody. Usually the only written music on a lead sheet will be a single line melody in the treble clef. When playing a tune with these left hand chord shapes, you'll often have to play the melody an octave higher than written, otherwise the hands will bump into each other. That's the case in Tune Up, but for my example tune, the melody can be played where it's written. You now have all the information you need to play this piece or Tune Up, just from reading the lead sheet. Let's work through the first few bars of this tune together, and then I'll leave the rest for you to work out yourself. In the first bar we have an E minor 7 chord. I'll line that up before I play the melody, and then once I think I've got it in place, I'll bring the melody in as well. As it's the first chord, I'll just play it in root position. The root is E, it's a minor 7 chord, so it's got a minor third, 1, 2, 3, a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a minor 7th, so up to the root here and down 1, 2. Okay, so now I can add the melody on top. As there's just one chord symbol in the bar, we know it comes in on beat 1, so the melody note and the chord are going to come in together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on to bar 2. I'll make sure to keep my hand on this chord while I work out which finger to use for the next chord, so I can see which is easiest to reach from the current position. The next chord is A dominant 7. Playing the root with the pinky would require more movement than using the second finger, so I'll use the second finger to play the root. It's a dominant 7 chord, so it's got a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4, a perfect fifth, 5, 6, 7, so I'll put that down here, and a minor 7th, which is 2 below the root. 1, 2. So now I'm in position, I can play this bar hands together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on to bar 3. The next chord is D major 7. Playing the root with the second finger requires more movement than using the pinky, so I'll use the pinky to play the root. It's a major 7 chord, so it's got a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4. A perfect fifth, 5, 6, 7, and a major 7th, so up to the root here and down 1. And now hands together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 4 doesn't have a chord symbol above it, so we keep holding down the chord from the previous bar. The melody is tied as well, so we literally just stay in this position and count through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next chord is D minor 7. Playing the root with the second finger requires more movement than using the pinky, so I'll use the pinky to play the root. It's a minor 7 chord, so it's got a minor third, 1, 2, 3, a perfect fifth, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a minor 7th, so up to the root here and down 1, 2. And now hands together, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all there is to it. I won't go step by step through the whole tune because what we're trying to do here is learn how to play a jazz standard just by reading a lead sheet. The only way you'll learn how to do that is just by trying to do it. In the course of learning this tune, you'll probably have to work out the chords many times before you start to memorize the shapes, and that's fine. It will be very slow at first, but the only way to get better at working out chords is to spend time working out chords, and that's pretty much what playing lead sheets is all about. You'll probably get some of those chords wrong, but as long as you do your best to play everything accurately, you'll get better, and that's all we're trying to do. My advice is to start out of time and take it bar by bar, and always investigate when you think you've made a mistake. If you want a practice strategy for learning a tune, I've got a great strategy which I love teaching to people, and I'm going to make a video on it in the future, so there should be a link here once I put it up. Have fun with this. The next video will be the last one in this mini course, and by the end you should be able to play any lead sheet you can get your hands on.